Houston did, switching 1 through 5 as
to take a shot of this. James against Porter, drives, spins, gets inside. It's good. It's 40,000 for LeBron James. LeBron, open three.
22 seasons, 40 years of age. LeBron James, 50,002 points.
50,000 points. That's the number that will haunt the NBA forever. LeBron James broke Kareem's unbreakable record and is sitting at over 42,000 career points right now. But 50K? That's a whole different monster. Here's the crazy part. I'm about to prove to you that no one will ever reach 50,000 points in the NBA. Not Luka, not Giannis, not even some future superstar we haven't even met yet. The math is absolutely insane, and by the end of this video, you'll understand why 50,000 points might be the most impossible record in all of sports. Let's break it down. Back when LeBron entered the league, the NBA was a whole lot different than it is today. From the pace of play, to the rules, and even the fan interest. Most sports fans would rather catch a Yankees game than sit in a hot gym watching basketball. But even in its early days, the NBA still came down to that one thing: scoring. In 1947, no one could score the ball better than Joe Fultz, the NBA's first prolific bucket getter. With unshakable confidence and a silky smooth jump shot, Joe became the first record holder for the most points in an NBA career, with 7,021. But Joe's record wouldn't last, thanks to George Mikan, a 6'10 giant who dominated the paint. By 1952, Mikan surpassed Fultz's scoring record and became the first NBA player to surpass 10,000 career points. 5 digits, a historic milestone that felt untouchable at the time. It would only be 2 seasons after Mikan's retirement that his record would also fall, this time to Dolph Schayes. In 1958, Schayes would hold the record for 6 years and elevate the total to over 18,000 career points, a massive jump from the previous record. But Dolph's time as the NBA's leading scorer was brief, because in 1964, Bob Pettit eclipsed Schayes' record and became the first NBA player to surpass the 20,000 point mark, establishing a new record of 20,880 career points, a total that should have held up for many years to come, if it wasn't for Wilt Chamberlain. One of the greatest scorers ever to play the game, Wilt Chamberlain redefined basketball. Wilt was such an unstoppable scorer that he not only shattered the all-time record, but he did it in just 7 seasons. Once Wilt obliterated the previous record, he would spend the next 7 seasons piling up a scoring total that was almost inconceivable at the time. He became the first player in NBA history to pass the 30,000 point mark, finishing his career with 31,419 points in 1974. By the time Wilt retired, there wasn't a player within 5,000 points of him. His record seemed safe for many years to come. It wasn't until a decade later that Kareem Abdul-Jabbar set a new all-time scoring record in 1984 with his unstoppable skyhook. Through unwavering consistency in a 20-year NBA career, Kareem took the scoring record to a place that no one ever thought it could go. On April 23, 1989, Kareem scored the final regular season points of his career, bringing the all-time scoring record to 38,387. Reporters, players, and coaches at the time, and ever since, called the record indestructible, safe from being touched for as long as the game existed. It would take a nearly perfect player designed to play the game at the highest level with ultra-elite scoring ability, unmatched consistency, and a career spanning across decades. He would have to stay healthy and avoid the sharp decline that every athlete inevitably faces. It couldn't possibly happen, right? Well, then LeBron James showed up and changed all of that. The first time I saw LeBron play was his NBA debut in 2003. I was a teenager glued to the TV, watching this 18-year-old kid from Akron drop 25 points against seasoned veterans. That was point number 1 of what's now over 42,000, and I knew immediately that this was something special. LeBron wasn't just a scorer, he was a freak of nature, Standing 6'9" with the build of a linebacker, the speed of a point guard, and the basketball IQ of a savant, he combined elite talent with an obsessive work ethic that defies time itself. By early 2023, LeBron officially became the NBA's all-time leading scorer, passing Kareem's indestructible record.
LeBron James, congratulations. You are officially the all-time scoring leader. I have a quote for you, my friend. Throw me to the wolves and I will return leading the pack. You are now leading the pack. How is the view?
But LeBron didn't stop there. By the projected end of his career, likely the 2026-2027 season, continuing to play alongside his son Bronny on the Lakers, he's on track to finish around 45,000 to 46,000 points if he stays healthy and maintains a strong scoring average. But here's where things get interesting. Could LeBron himself reach 50,000 points? Well, let's run the numbers. Based on his current trajectory, averaging around 24 points per game while playing 55 to 60 games per season due to load management and injury prevention, LeBron would need to play until he's 44 or 45 to reach that milestone. Even for someone as superhuman as LeBron, that's asking a lot. So even if LeBron James can't reach 50,000 points, who could? To hit that mythical number, a player would need to average 25 points per game, play 80 games per season, and sustain that production for 25 consecutive seasons. That's 2,000 points per year for a quarter of a century, with virtually no time off for injuries or rest. Put that in perspective, only 74 players in the NBA history have averaged 20 points per game for their careers. Bump that requirement to 25 points per game, and you're down to just 26 players. Legends like Michael Jordan, Kevin Durant, and obviously LeBron himself. But even among these elite scorers, only LeBron and Kareem have played long enough to approach 40,000 points, let alone 50,000. So let's examine the current candidates. Kevin Durant, at 35, is the closest active player with around 30,571 points after 17 seasons. He's averaging 27.3 points per game, but injuries have limited him to just 66 games or fewer per season since 2018. At his current pace, Durant would need another 10 seasons, taking him to age 45 to hit 50,000 points. That's simply not realistic. Okay, what about James Harden? He's 34 with 27,687 points, but his scoring average has declined, and he's not built for another decade of elite production. Steph Curry, Damian Lillard, and Russell Westbrook are all in their mid-30s and too far behind to catch up. Even Giannis Antetokounmpo at 30 with 20,538 points is about 5,000 points behind where LeBron was at the same age. So surely the young stars could take advantage of today's faster pace and higher scoring games, right? I mean, the NBA now averages 114.2 points per team, up from 100.8 when LeBron debuted in 2003. The three-point revolution has created more scoring opportunities than ever before. Luka Doncic presents the most interesting case. At 26, he accumulated around 12,878 points with a career average of 28.7 points per game, actually higher than LeBron's career average of 27.1. And mind you, this is after 6 seasons. But here's the catch. Luka would need to maintain 28 points per game for another 18 seasons until he's age 44 to reach 50,000 points. And that assumes that he stays healthy and avoids the decline that affects every aging player. Other young stars face even steeper climbs. Jason Tatum at 27 has 12,000 points but averages 23.1 points per game, below the 25 needed for the pace required. Devin Booker, 28, sits at 15,000 points, but would need 20 more seasons at his current 24.3 points per game. Trae Young, Donovan Mitchell, and other prolific young scorers all lack either the early career head start or the durability that 50,000 points would require. Even Victor Wembanyama, the 7'4" unicorn who's redefining what's possible at his size, faces an uphill battle. He's averaging 21.4 points as a rookie, but to reach 50,000 points, he'd need to ramp up to 30 points per game and sustain that for 20 years while playing 80 games per season. The physical demands on a player his size just make that scenario extremely unlikely. So here's a mind-bending stat that puts LeBron's longevity into perspective. His NBA career is literally older than some of the current players. LeBron debuted on October 29, 2003. Detroit's young center, Jalen Duren, was born November 18, 2003. LeBron has been scoring NBA buckets for longer than this active NBA player has been alive. That's not just longevity, that's superhuman. And LeBron's streak of 1,140 consecutive double-digit scoring games, the next closest active streak belongs to Joel Embiid at just 169 games. If Embiid maintained his current pace without ever failing to score double digits, he wouldn't catch LeBron's record until the 2041 NBA season. This means that we could add LeBron's consecutive double-digit streak to the list of records that will never be touched. So what would it realistically take to break 50,000 points? Picture this theoretical player. He enters the NBA at 18, already a polished superstar ready to dominate from day one. He averages 30 points per game. Think prime Michael Jordan or peak Kevin Durant, while playing all 82 games every season for 21 consecutive years. He dodges every major injury, ignores load management trends, and maintains elite scoring production into his late 30s or early 40s. He combines LeBron's durability with Wilt's scoring dominance and Kareem's consistency, all while possessing an obsessive love for the game that drives him through 1,600 plus games without mental or physical burnout. Does this player exist? I don't think so. Modern NBA stars average 60 to 70 games per season compared to the 75 through 80 in the previous decade. Load management, while smart for long-term health, kills the volume needed for 50,000 points. The physical toll of a 25-year career at elite production levels is simply too much for the human body to handle. Even if we project into the future, assuming the NBA scoring boom continues and teams average 120 points per game, the fundamental challenge remains. A player would still need to maintain elite production for over 2 decades while avoiding the injuries and decline that affect everyone eventually. LeBron himself missed only about 10% of his possible games, an anomaly that's unlikely to be replicated. Looking at all the data, analyzing every possible angle, and considering both current players and future projections, I'm confident in this prediction. No one will break 50,000 points in our lifetime. LeBron's eventual record represents a perfect storm of generational talent, freakish durability, and obsessive dedication to the game that we are unlikely to see again. To find a player capable of reaching 50,000 points, we need a time machine to travel decades into the future, to an era where perhaps medical technology keeps players fresh indefinitely, or the NBA plays 100-game seasons. But even then, the mental grind, the physical wear, and the sheer impossibility of maintaining elite production for 25 years makes this barrier virtually unbreachable. LeBron's climb towards 50,000 points is like attempting to scale Mount Everest without oxygen. Maybe in anime is possible, but for regular people, it's practically impossible. The numbers simply don't add up, no matter how you slice them. But what do you think? Am I in my own head here, or is there someone who can go all the way to put LeBron in second place? Leave your thoughts in the comments. As always, if you enjoyed this deep dive into basketball's most impossible record, don't forget to hit that like button as it really helps with the algorithm. Also, hit subscribe and tap that bell icon so you never miss any of my updates. Until next time, let's take a page from the king himself. There's a lot of pressure put on me, but I don't put a lot of pressure on myself. I feel if I play my game, I'll take care of itself. Keep loving the game, and maybe, just maybe, we'll witness someone crazy enough to chase 50,000. But I wouldn't bet on it. And speaking of bold moves, wait until you see how one team completely fumbled the bag by trading away Jimmy Butler. Watch the team fumble the bag next, and trust me, you want to see how it all went down.